we jump into this video, if you haven't signed up for the Froknows Photo email list, you can do so. Just look for this orange box over on the website, put your name, email address in it, hit send it, and I will send you a free guide to capturing motion in low-light situations. Jared Polin, FroknowsPhoto.com, here with the Canon Full Frame lineup plus one camera. Now, why am I doing this video? Because I've done one with the Nikon Full Frame lineup, which you can click up on the screen right now to see that comparison video that I did. So now I'm here to put the Canons on the table and decide to help you decide which ones may be for you, which ones to bypass, which ones are the best, and just give you a little bit of specs. Now, I've done some reviews of the 7D Mark II. I've done a full review of the Canon 6D. I never did one of the 5D Mark III, but most of the videos that have been recorded on my website have been shot with this, including the Froknows Photo Guide to DSLR Video was entirely shot with this, meaning the videos of me were shot with this camera. And then there's the 1DX, which I went out and used at a Macklemore concert, which was freaking fantastic when I shot that. So you can see those videos. We'll link to them at the end. So why am I adding the 7D Mark II to this lineup? Because it's almost like a full frame camera. Of course, it's not a full frame camera because it's a crop sensor, but I think it deserves to be on this table. Now, I am making this video on December 2nd of 2014, so keep in mind that all the prices that I have are based off of today's date, and it's going to change. The first thing I will say about the full frame lineup is it's pretty small. You have 3 of these cameras right here, and it's also pretty old at this point. The only new thing here is the 7D Mark II, and that's why it's here. So I'm going to go down the list, price them out, quickly give you some of the specs, and then help you decide which ones you could go with if you decided to. 7D Mark II coming in at $1799.99. That's right, it's $1,800 for a cropped sensor camera, but we know that it's for the sports shooters because it shoots at 10 frames a second and it has a 1.6 times crop factor. It's weather sealed out the tuchus, meaning it's really good for people if they want to get out into nature and shoot, because weather sealing out there is extremely important. The 10 frames a second, like I said, is the fastest frames per second of any crop sensor camera that I know of right now. One of the disappointing things about the camera is that it's not full frame. Maybe that could have been a better option to spend the money, especially when we move to the 6D in a second. Yeah, definitely check out the review of this camera. I thought it worked very well. The focus is extremely good for the most part. There were some subtle out of focus things that I saw, but you'll hear more about that in my review. But when it was tack, it was tack. Now we're moving up to the 6D, which was Canon's first foray into a lower end full frame camera. I reviewed this at a hockey game, and I was very happy with the results. I was able to get some really nice shots, and I thought the camera handled very well. But right now, after rebates, it's $1599. It's less expensive than the 7D Mark III. And, well, I'm not going to compare the Nikons to it right now. We'll do that a little later. Sorry, 7D Mark II, as Stephen corrected me. So right now, this camera is old. Most of this lineup is old, and it's going to be refreshed soon. So I'm just doing it based off of what we have right now. So 11 focus points. The problem with the 6D is that it only has one cross-type sensor for focusing, and that's right in the middle. So for portraits, for photojournalist type shooting, it may not work for photojournalistic type shooting because you may not do too well tracking the focus, but for portraits in the studio, and if you're on the Canon side, this could be a great option, but I would almost say hold off. It's also 4.5 frames a second. It's long in the tooth. It's something that, you know, if I had to choose between a 7D Mark II or the 6D, that's kind of a hard decision because I love full frame. It all depends on what you're shooting. So you're doing the sports thing, you want that 1.6 crop factor for that extra reach, you would go with this. But to jump into the full frame market for $1599, this could be a nice option, but maybe hold off until the first quarter of 2015 because we may start to see this lineup getting refreshed. And this is a camera that needs to be refreshed. Didn't hate it, thought it was a pretty good camera at the time, still think it's pretty good, but I don't think I could recommend buying this right now, especially with what you have over on the Nikon side, and I'll have another video about that at some other point. Now we move up to the 5D Mark III. This is $3,099 after rebates. We've got one of the best all-around cameras ever made of any system. Nikon, Canon, Olympus, doesn't matter. This camera, I'll say Sony and I'll say all the others, whatever, but this camera is one of the best well-rounded cameras ever made. You've got your full frame sensor. You have your, 6 frames a second on this. It's great for photos. It's great for videos. So many professionals are using this for weddings. So many professionals are using this for portraits. Some of them are using it for sports, and a lot use it for concerts. It's so well-rounded. It's fantastic. But it's also long in the tooth. It's one of those cameras that's ready for the next step, because the next version of this camera is probably poised to be one of the best again on the market out of anything out there. So it's hard to tell you to go spend $3,000 right now, but if you do need a full frame camera on the Canon side, this for a little bit over $3,000. They do have some refurbs that Canon sells, which are a very nice option if you can get them on their site. This is a fantastic camera. One of the downfalls, it's 1080 at, doesn't do 60 frames a second, but whatever. You can live with that if you're not doing a ton of video. But a lot of cinema people are using this camera still. Fantastic. Move on to the 1DX. We're looking at a $6,000 body currently, 14 frames a second. This is a beast. I don't need to go into all of the specs for it because it's just built like a brick S-house. And look, listen to this. I've shot this camera, and it is very hard to only take 1 frame. To sit here and go like this, you know, it takes a little bit of finger skills, if you have good finger skills, to get used to only taking 1 shot. I know when I was shooting a concert, the first concert I shot with this was a Macklemore show. I used the best Canon glass that was out there, and I didn't know much about the camera. It was the first shoot I ever did, and I was so happy with the results. I almost sold my Nikon stuff to switch over to this because I wasn't happy with the results at the time with my Nikon. This 1DX is unbelievable for sports, for action, for photojournalism. If you're a wedding shooter, it's probably overkill, to be honest with you, especially at the price when you can buy 2 5D Mark IIIs for the price of a 1DX. You have to take that into consideration. If you're a full-time professional doing extreme sports, extreme traveling, photojournalism stuff, you need the best camera in the world made by Canon. This is it. Solid, solid camera. And again, this one's long in the tooth as well. So I'm thinking that these 3 cameras right here are due for an upgrade, if not something new falling somewhere in between these 2, or meshing the quality of a 7D Mark II with a full frame body like a Canon 6D. So you know what? It's still a very viable lineup. If you're looking for a Canon camera and you're looking for full frame, you can never go wrong with a 5D Mark III. I don't know what else to say other than if I had to choose between any of these cameras sitting here, reasonably speaking, would be a 5D Mark III. Now, if money was not an option, I'd pick up a 1DX, of course, because that is one of the best cameras out there that I loved using and can't say enough good words about it. So I believe that, I wanted to talk about grips. I want to talk about grips really quick. I think that all cameras need to have a vertical grip. This is a BG E11. This is for the Canon 5D Mark III. It allows you to shoot vertically. It adds a joystick onto it. It adds an extra battery for better battery life. It just feels better when you're holding it. I feel that every camera that you shoot with, I think you can get better results when you use a grip. And that brings me up to that third-party grip option that a lot of people are talking about and say that they like using. I cannot trust a third-party grip. I just can't do it because I've heard issues that the batteries don't connect well, or what if you're shooting a wedding and the bride's coming down the aisle and you get a disconnect error because something happened with the third-party grip. So you're going to spend half the price, maybe even 1/3 the price, but I can't risk it, and I don't think you should risk it as a professional because that one time it fails is the time that you don't want it to fail. So stick with the name brand is what I would suggest for that. So there you have it, guys. That is the full Canon lineup, plus 1 for the full frame with the 7D Mark II in there. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's where I'm going to end it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more, be sure to click the subscribe button to be notified when I put new videos live, which I do quite often. But if you want to check out any of the other videos that I talked about during this video, you can click up on the screen to see the Macklemore shoot, the hockey shoots that I've done with the multiple cameras, as well as the Nikon comparison of their full frame cameras. So there you guys have it. Hope you click on something, but definitely subscribe.